Hello folks, the statistics professor is back with more MLB picks for you today, Tuesday, May 16. Once again, I am going to take a swing at a pretty big underdog, so stay tuned, my friend. Now, let's start with a couple of potential wagers that are both backed by a betting system called the Blowout Number 1. The rules of this strategy were developed after analyzing data on 7 full MLB seasons, and they go like this. Bet any team that won its previous match by a margin of at least 8 runs if they are facing the same opponent today. Can you guess which two teams fit those criteria today? The first system pick for May 16th goes to the Seattle Mariners playing at Fenway Park tonight. Given that Seattle won 10-1 in Boston yesterday, they do qualify under the blowout number 1 betting angle. That being said, after analyzing this game deeper, do I view the Mariners as an official pick, a lean, or an avoid? I never bet my systems blindly. I always need further evidence before pulling the trigger. The pitching duel is obviously pretty enticing here. Luis Castillo is accomplishing a fantastic job in his first full season with Seattle. Holding a whip statistic below 1 is reserved to elite pitchers, and that is what he's done so far in 2023. Meanwhile, his counterpart, Nick Pivetta, has posted a whip stat between 1.30 and 1.50 his entire career. Remember that the league average is 1.30, so that shows how he is a below-average starter in the big leagues. The 2023 season has been no different to him. Also, he has surrendered at least 3 runs in each of his past 5 starts, which is awful. I know the Red Sox have a great offense, but their pitching staff has been awful. Plus, Boston has won a single game during their past 7 contests. For all of those reasons, I am officially backing the Seattle Mariners despite the negative odds. In my mind, they will do the job and keep the Sox reeling for at least one more game. Alright, which other team do you believe is supported by the blowout number 1 system? That's right, the Atlanta Braves, who destroyed the Rangers 12-0 last night. Today, this is a pick'em game, according to odds makers. Does this sound like a solid value wager? Let's find out. Jarrett Schuster will make his 3rd MLB start, and the Braves are hoping he can improve upon his awful performance so far. Maybe I could tolerate the fact that he has allowed 4 runs in each of his 2 starts, but issuing 9 walks in less than 9 innings is completely unacceptable. Before I looked at his big league numbers, I was scanning through his minor league stats, and I remember telling myself, geez, this guy has been allowing a high rate of base on balls, and apparently things got even worse. The Rangers are set to send Dane Dunning to the mound. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this guy. Again, keeping in mind that the league average in terms of walks plus hits per inning pitch is 1.30, Dunning got a 1.44 figure a couple of years ago, and then 1.43 last season. That is quite bad. Now, out of nowhere, Dunning has been incredibly good, but I'm still suspicious that this could be an outlier. I will need many more good performances before I conclude that he has really improved. Both teams have a similar record, and the Rangers have a better run differential. Still, the Braves were projected to be among the best teams in baseball, while Texas was supposed to be in the middle of the pack. I have more faith in Atlanta, and they have been great road warriors so far this season via a 16-6 record as the visiting team. In the end, let me rate it as a lean simply because I find it difficult to make a normal bet on a team that will be sending such an inefficient pitcher on the mound. I have two more potential bets to present to you. The third system pick backed by the blowout number 2 strategy that I discussed on numerous occasions this year is the Miami Marlins at home against the Washington Nationals. I won't make you wait any longer about this one. I don't like this potential play. Nope. The Nationals may be 2 games behind the Marlins in the standings, but their run differential is minus 20 compared to minus 56 for the Marlins. There is no big gap between these two teams, and yet the line is making Miami a pretty solid favorite. Can this be explained by the starting pitchers? Personally, again, I don't believe we have a good edge going to Miami. To me, Josiah Gray is underrated. In 8 starts, he has allowed 2 or fewer runs 6 times, which is extremely impressive. Since his first outing of the season, which turned out to be his worst, he has squandered just 10 runs in more than 40 innings. You've got to tip your hat off to the young man. Miami will strike back with Jesus Luzardo. He is also a good promising hurler, I won't argue with that, but I don't view him as being clearly better than Gray right now. I expect a hard-fought game that will be tight until the end. Under such conditions, the smartest move is to go with the underdog at positive odds. So if you forced me to bet this game, I would go against the advice of the blowout number 2 system, and I would actually put my money on Washington. It's time for the icing on the cake, my final betting recommendation of the day, which concerns a pretty big underdog that I think has a very fair chance of winning today. Let me be clear, this is my second official MLB pick for today, even though it is not suggested by any of my 19 betting strategies. And the pick in question goes to the New York Yankees at Rogers Center tonight. Wow, are the bookies really offering us the opportunity to bet a red-hot team at plus 160 odds or 2.60 in decimal format? And it's not like they were facing a much superior team. The Yankees are just 1 game behind the Jays in the standings, and both teams have an identical plus 19 run differential this season. In other words, overall, these teams have performed the same way, but New York has been more on fire lately. The Bronx Bombers also hold a 12-4 record during their past 16 visits to Toronto, so they seem to feel comfortable in that stadium. The only reason explaining this line can be summarized into 2 words: Kevin Gausman. But if you want to bet the Jays today, you are paying the Gausman tax, and let me tell you that it is a hefty tax to pay. Is he good? Yes. He's had 5 starts in which he did not allow a run. But is he unbeatable? Clearly not. He also had a couple of starts where he struggled mightily. He gave up 8 runs to Boston and 7 runs to Houston. One more question for you. Do you believe the Yankees have enough firepower to be one of those teams that succeeds at hitting Gausman hard? To me, the answer is yes. They are capable of doing that. I'm not saying they will pound him, but they have what it takes to do it. On the other side, it's not like New York was sending an atrocious pitcher to the mound. In fact, you might be surprised to learn that Domingo German actually has a better whip statistic than Gausman this season, and it's not that close. 0.96 versus 1.10 for Gausman. Some may disagree with me, and that is totally fine, but the public may be overrating Gausman due to his spectacular strikeout rate. He has racked up 67 punch-outs in 48 innings, which is awesome. But come on, the Yankees at plus 160 odds? Did I say plus 160 odds? Personally, I could not resist the temptation, and I placed my bet earlier this morning on New York. We'll see what happens. In summary, the Mariners and the Yankees represent my two most solid MLB bets for today, while I have a lean on the Braves in Texas. Every single day, I also provide a few more picks regarding the first 5 innings or whether a run will be scored or not during the opening frame. Those plays are backed by a very reliable statistical model that I created and refined over the past 20 years, and that has generated a great profit. So if you want more baseball picks, along with my NHL and NBA betting tips who have been on fire, you can always join our group of bookie crushers at mjpicks.com. Thanks for watching this video, my friend. I appreciate you so much.
Got you.